Good evening. Once again, we return to the story of Caius, Spellsword, Dunmer, Eternal Champion, former agent of the Emperor, and initiate into the Blades. Now we found ourselves in Maar. As it turns out, this is not where we were supposed to be. I found that the original game shipped with a map, and having consulted that map, we needed to go north of Valmora. I realized the last cast was entirely me trying to find my way to this area, but we are going to need to go back. So it'll take a little while to get that done, but we'll be running and we'll be going straight there. If it's not clear, the task that we're trying to do is take the necromancer in Maar. It may be an idea for me to rest while I am on my way for a long journey, but I think we'll go as far as we can and recover when we need to. My only regret here is because I'm going to be following the road. It's very unlikely that we're going to be finding any new locations, but I also want to try and find the most direct path to Valmora. And while I want to be a little bit conscious of my stamina, especially if we run into anything nasty, I plan on running the whole way if I can. The one thing I didn't check was the quality of my weapons. Although I can see that in the bottom right, we're okay. So the first little bit of this is just going to be me finding my way back to Valmora. Although it looks like I have some opportunities to pick up some items. Or at least I thought I did. Right now, I believe this is a hostile fort, or temple, or whatever it is. Speaking of, I have a little bit of room in my inventory, so there may be a possibility to go on some adventures if the opportunity presents itself. So, speaking of opportunities to go on adventures, let's see what we can get done here. I was rather hoping I wouldn't have to. Would have been nice to have a little more stamina for the fight. Alright. Restore fatigue is long overdue. What can we do about our health? Certainly much better equipped than I am. Should have used the probe if I could have.
This is the end of you, Swit! This is the end of you, Swit! There is no escape! There is no escape!
I think this is a good excuse to, yes, this is why I found it difficult. My strength wore off. Alright, so at this point I do need to find a place to rest. Looks like there might be some kind of a hammock up there. I'm gonna guess we can't survive another encounter like that, but let's see what we can do. So now, of course, we can afford to do the destruction spells. And we'll see if they're more effective than my melee attacks. There's a small priority for destruction spells, just so that I can
Have you?
doesn't do enough. They're certainly much stronger than I can handle. At this point, I'm happy to claim valuables unless I can find improvements to my existing weapons.
Yes, Outlander?
I don't know you. What do you want?
Who are you?
I'm Vadni Rethan, healer.
What rumors have you heard?
Have you noticed, for all of its proclamations about protecting the rights of property and preserving law and order, the Imperial Legion does little enough to capture and prosecute abolitionists? It's a bit hypocritical, don't you think?
Do you have any advice?
Are you interested in the healer's trade in Morrowind? Maybe you should talk with Yigfa at Fort Pelagiad in Pelagiad Village. She's very nice, experienced, and very patient with questions.
What about secrets?
You're an outlander. Maybe you don't know about the kinds of Daedric ruins we have here in Morrowind. Daedra cults worship the bad Daedra. You can learn more about that at the temple. Anyway, long ago, before the temple put a stop to it, people used to worship bad Daedra, Molag Bal, Malekith, Shigarath, and Marunas Dagon at the Daedra shrines. But lately, since the Empire came in, some people have taken up worshipping bad Daedra at these old sites. And I warn you, these are dangerous places.
Anything you can tell me about Morrowind? Nothing I haven't heard before. What about your trade?
I'm a healer. I have sworn solemn oaths to the College of Restoration to heal the afflicted and cure the diseased, but I've also learned that preventing harm to others often requires a more active opposition to monsters and malefactors, so I've studied both the unarmed, unarmored martial arts of the Khajiit and the light-armored and blunt weapon styles of the Imperial West, both for self-defense and for disabling or killing dangerous opponents.
Thank you for your time. Probably doesn't seem right to empty the contents of your shelves, so we'll go somewhere else.
The 36 Lessons of Vivek, Sermon 25, the Scripture of the City. All cities are born of solid light, such as my city, his city. But then the light subsides, revealing the bright and terrible angel of Veloth. He is in his pre-chimerical form, demonic Vek, gaunt and pale and beautiful, skin stretched painfully thin on birds' bones, feathered serpents encircling his arms. His wings are spread out behind him, their red and yellow ends like razors in the sun. The wispy mass of his fire hair floats as if under water, milky in the nimbus of light that crowns his head. His presence is undeniable, the awe too much to bear. This is God's city, different from others. Cities from foreign countries put their denizens to sleep and walk to the star-wounded east to pay homage to me. The capital of the northern men, crusty with Aeon's ice, bows before Vivek in the city, me it together. Self-thought streets rush through tunnel blood. I've rebuilt myself, hyper-eyed signposts among my traffic arm, soon to be an inner sea. My body is crawling with all gathered to see me rising up like a monolithic instrument of pleasure. My spine is the main road to the city that I am. Countless transactions are taking place in veins and catwalks, and the roaming as they roam over and through and add to me. There are temples erected along the hollow of my skull, and I will ever wear them as a crown, walk across the lips of God. They add new doors to me, and I become effortlessly transimmortal with the comings and goings and stride heat of the market, where I am traded for, yell of the children hear them play, scoffed at, amused, desired, paid for in native coin, newly minted with my face on one side and my city body on the other. I stare with each new window. Soon I am a million-eyed insect dreaming. Red sparkling war trumpets sound like cattle in the ribcage of shuffling transit. The heretics are destroyed on the plaza knees. I flood over into the hills, houses rising like a rash, and I never scratch. Cities are the antidotes to hunting. I raise lanterns to light my hollows, lend wax to the thousands of candlesticks that bear my name again and again, the name innumerable shutting in mantra and priest God city filling every corner of the naming name, wheeled, circling, running river, language giggling with footfalls, mating, selling, stealing, searching, and worry not, ye who walk with me. This is the flowering scheme of the Arabis. This is the promise of the Sij egg, image, man, God, city, state. I serve and am served. I am made of wire and string and mortar, and I accede my own precedent, world without am. The ending of the words is Almsivi.
I'm sure that will make sense to at least one of you. I'll come back for those who just want to see what I can do with the scrap metal. I don't think I need the arrows. I was curious if I'd be able to use the forge, but it seems like I can't. As much as I'd like to keep these, I don't think I have the space. Although, one thing I can do. We'll go again for the thing that we have the most of, so crush fiber, so luck and personality. just gonna go from the things that I have the most of. So, strength and magicka. So restore willpower or levitate for this one. Don't think I have anything for restore willpower, but we'll do our best. Again, part of this is just about trying to make the most of my space. Alright, resist fire or drain health. We should have a few of these. I rather thought we'd have more of that. Alright. Water breathing and drain fatigue. Could have sworn I had more of that. Well, at least we cleared some inventory space. think we've already dealt with this one. Let's go for... I don't think we have agility or telekinesis. I feel like we, alright. Intelligence resist poison. I think at this point, whatever I gain from the exercise won't be worth the time, so we did free up enough to be able to do or carry more though.
What is it, Sarah?
36 lessons of Vivek, 36. For these were the days of Ristania, when Keimer and Dwemer lived under the wise and benevolent rule of the Almsevi, and through their champion of the Horator, though the Drummer had become foolish and challenged their masters. Out of their fortresses they came with golden ballistae that walked, and mighty antronics, and things that spat flames, and things that made killing songs. Their king was Dumak Dwarfork, but their high priest was Carignac the Blighter. Under mountains and over them the war with the Dwemer was raged, and then came the northern men to help Cagrinac, and they brought the Ysmir again. Leading the armies of the Keimer was the slave that would not perish, the Horator Neverar, who had traded his axe for the Ethos knife. He slew Dumak at Red Mountain and saw the heart bone for the first time. Men of brass destroyed the elven gates and the mourning hold, and behind them came the Dwemerai architects of Tone. Iam threw down her cloak and became the face-snaked queen of the 3-in-1. Those that looked upon her were overcome by the meanings of the stars. Under the sea, Set stirred and brought the army he had been working on in the castles of glass and coral. Clarkwick Draws, mockeries of the Dwemerai war machines, rose from the sea and took their counterparts back beneath, where they were swallowed forever by the sea. Red Mountain exploded as the Horator went too far inside, seeking the Sharmat. Dwemerai High Priest Cagernak then revealed that which he had built in the image of Vivek. It was a walking star, which burnt the armies of the Triune and destroyed the heartland of Veloth, creating the Inner Sea. Each of the aspects of the Almsevi then rose up together, combining as one, and showed the world the sixth path. Iam took from the star its fire, Set took from it its mystery, and Vek took from it its feet, which had been constructed before the gift of Molag Bal and destroyed in the manner of truth by a great hammering. When the soul of the Dwemer could walk no more, they were removed from this world. But Isanya was no more. It had been redeemed of all the iniquities of the foolish. The Amsivi drew nets from the beginning place and captured the ash of the Red Mountain, which they knew was the blight of the Dwemer, and would serve only to infect the whole of the middle world, and ate it. Altadun Dunmeri. The beginning of the words is Almsivi. I give you this as Vivek.
I'm happy to read other people's books, I just don't want to take them from them.
The Gold Ribbon of Merit by Amprian Brum. In that early springtime morning, pale sunlight flickered behind the morning mist floating through the trees as Templar and Stringpool made their way to the clearing. Neither had been back in High Rock, let alone in their favorite woods, for 4 years. The trees had changed little, even if they had. Stringpool had a handsome blonde mustache now, stiffened and spiked with wax, and Templar seemed to be a completely alien creature to the young lad who searched for adventure in the ancient grove. He was much quieter, as if scarred within as well as without. They each carried their bows and quivers with extra care as they maneuvered their way through the clusters of vine and branch. "This is the path that used to lead to your house, isn't it, old boy?" asked Stringpool. Templar glanced at the overgrowth and nodded before continuing on. "I thought so," said Stringpool, and laughed. "I remember it because you used to run down it every time you got a bloody nose. I know I can't offend you, but I have to say, it's hard to believe that you ended up a soldier." "How's your family?" asked Templar. "The same, a bit more pompous if that's possible. It's obvious they wish I'd come back from the academy, but there's nothing much for me here, at least not until I collect my inheritance. Did you see I got a gold ribbon of merit in archery?" "How could I miss it?" said Templar. "Oh yes, I nearly forgot that families put it in the Great Hall, very ostentatiously. I suppose you can actually see it through the picture window. Silly, but I hope the peasants are impressed." The clearing opened up before them, where the mist settled on the grass, enveloping it in an opaque, chilly vapor. Burlap targets were arranged around in a semicircle, several meters apart, like sentinels. "You've been practicing," observed Templar. "Well, a bit. I've only been back in town a few days," said Stringpool with a smile. "My parents said you got here a week ago?" "That's right. My unit's camped a few miles east, and I thought I'd visit the old haunts. A lot's changed. I could hardly recognize anything at all." Templar looked down at the valley below to the vast empty-tilled ground, stretching it out for miles around. "It looks like a good planting." "My family's rather spread out since yours left. There was some discussion, I think, about keeping your old house up, but it seemed a little sentimental, especially as there was fertile ground beneath." Stringpool strung his bow carefully. It was a beautiful piece of art, darkest ebony and spun silver filigrees, handcrafted for him in Wayrest. He looked over at Templar stringing his bow and felt a twinge of pity. It was a sad weathered utensil, bound together with strips of fabric. "That's how they taught you to string your bow. You need some advisors from the academy in that army of yours," said Stringpool as gently as he could. "The untightened loop is supposed to look like an X and an O. Yours looks like a Z and a Y." "Works for me," said Templar. "I should tell you, I won't be able to make an afternoon of this. I'm supposed to join my unit this evening." Stringpool began to feel annoyed by his old friend. If he was angry about his family losing their land, why couldn't he just say it? Why did he come back to the valley at all? He watched Templar knock his first arrow, taking aim at a target, and coughed. "Sorry, but I can't in good faith send you back to the army without a little new wisdom. There are 3 types of draw. 3 fingers, thumb, and index. Thumb and 2 fingers. Then there's the thumb draw, which I like, but you see," Stringpool showed Templar the small leather loop fastened on the cord of his bow, "you need to have one of these thingies or you'll tear your thumb right off." "I think I like my stupid method best." "Don't be pig-headed, Templar. They didn't give me the gold ribbon for merit for nothing. I demonstrated shooting from under a shield, standing, sitting, squatting, kneeling, and sitting on horseback. This is practical information I'm imparting, for the sake of our friendship, which I, at least, haven't completely forgotten. Sweet Kinnereth, I remember when you were just an oily little squirt, begging for this kind of honest guidance." Templar looked at Stringpool for a moment, and then lowered his bow. "Show me." Stringpool relaxed, shook away the tensions that had been building. He did his exercise drawing the bow back to his eyebrow, his mustache, his chest, his earlobe. There are 3 ways of shooting: snatching and releasing in one continuous motion, like the Bosmer do, holding with a short draw and a pause before releasing, like the Khajiit, and partial draw, pause, final draw. Stringpool fired the arrow into the center of the target with a cool precision and release, which I prefer. Very nice, said Templar. Now you, said Stringpool. He helped the Templar select a grip, knock his arrow correctly, and take aim. A smile grew on Templar's face, the first time since Stringpool had seen such a childlike expression on the war-etched visage all afternoon. When Templar released the arrow, it rocketed high over the top of the target into the valley below, where it disappeared from sight. Not bad, said Templar. No, not bad, said Stringpool, feeling friendly once again. If you practice, you should be able to focus your aim a little bit. The two shot a few more practice bolts before parting ways. Templar began a long trek east to his unit's camp, and Stringpool wound his way through the woods to the valley and his family's mansion. He hummed a little tune and learned that at the academy as he passed the great lawn and walked up to the front door, pleased with himself for helping his old friend. It entirely escaped his attention that the large picture window was broken, but he noticed right away when he came into the great hall and saw Templar's wild shot bolt sticking from his gold ribbon of merit.
That I can do at least some staggering because I'm clearly not doing enough damage on my own. Extend this any more than it has to go. Uh-oh.
And I will end your pain.
Trap. Obviously, I won't read the entire book again, but I do need to get the points off of it. I suppose there isn't any point in me holding back on these.
I'm listening. Go ahead. There's someone watching me. I can tell. Outlander, what do you want? Try and wait until I hear it again.
managed to chip away. I'd love to carry more of these, but obviously I only have so much space. Good Lord. Yeah, the strength reduction is going to be a problem. This just might get me stuck into a spot that I can't fix. But I'd really rather not have to do these fights if I can avoid it. Oh, this is gonna be a long wait. And it looks like I don't have Restore Endurance. Interesting. I suppose I'll have to find a priest then. Let's see if we can make some potions, particularly ones that restore endurance. No, apparently the one thing we don't have is restore endurance. I really don't want to drop any of this. No, this katana might be better. Alright, I'm not going completely crazy with the pickups. I just think I'm going to be able to lighten the load in a little bit. But we're still short, yeah. Here's an interesting question. I wonder if making a potion will, oh, actually, this will almost certainly work because the scrap metal is really heavy. It's not that heavy, though.
The Wolf Queen, Book 8, by Juan Jarth, from the pen of Enzolicus, 2nd century sage. Third Era, 127. Following the Battle of Ichidag, the Emperor Uriel Septim III was captured, and before he was able to be brought before his uncle's castle in the Hammerfell Kingdom of Ghislaine, he met his death at the hands of an angry mob. This uncle, Sepphoris, was thereafter proclaimed emperor and rode to the imperial city. The troops formerly loyal to Emperor Uriel and his mother, the Wolf Queen Potema, pledged themselves to their new emperor. In return for their support, the nobility of Skyrim, High Rock, Hammerfell, and Somerset Isle, Valenwood, Blackmarsh, and Morrowind demanded and received a new level of autonomy and independence from the Empire. The War of the Red Diamond was at an end. Potema continued to fight a losing battle, her area of influence dwindling and dwindling until only her kingdom of solitude remained in her power. She summoned Daedra to fight for her, and her necromancers resurrect her fallen enemies as undead warriors, and mounted attack after attack on the forces of her brothers, the Emperor Sepphoris Septim I and King Magnus of Lilmoth. Her allies began leaving her as her madness grew, and her only companions were the zombies and skeletons she had amassed over the years. The Kingdom of Solitude became a land of death, stories of the ancient Wolf Queen being awaited on by rotting skeletal chambermaids and holding war plans with vampiric generals terrified her subjects. Third Era 137. Magnus opened up the small window to in his room. For the first time in weeks, he heard the sounds of a city, carts squeaking, horses clopping over the cobblestones, and somewhere a child laughing. He smiled as he returned to his bedside to wash his face and finish dressing. There was a distinctive knock on the door. "Come in, Pell," he said. Pelagius bounded into the room. It was obvious that he had been up for hours. Magnus marveled at his energy and wondered how much longer battles would last if they were run by 12-year-old boys. "Did you see outside yet?" Pelagius asked. "All the townspeople have come back. There are shops and a mages guild and down by the harbor. I saw 100 shops come from all over the place. They don't have to be afraid anymore. We've taken care of all the zombies and ghosts that used to be their neighbors, and they know it's safe to come back." "Is Uncle Sepphoris going to turn into a zombie when he dies?" asked Pelagius. "I wouldn't put that past him," laughed Magnus. "Why do you ask?" "I heard some people saying that he was old and sick," said Pelagius. "He's not that old," said Magnus. "He's 60 years old. That's just 2 years older than I." "And how old is Aunt Potema?" asked Pelagius. 70, said Magnus. "And yes, that is old. Any more questions will have to wait. I have to go and meet with the commander now, but we will talk at supper. You can make yourself busy. You can make yourself busy and not get into any trouble?" "Yes, sir," said Pelagius. He understood that his father had to continue to hold siege on Aunt Potema's castle. After they took it over and locked her up, they would move out of the inn and into the castle. Pelagius was not looking forward to that. The whole town had a funny sweet dead smell, and he could not get even as close to that castle moat without gagging from the stench. They could dump 1,000,000 flowers on the place, and it wouldn't make any difference at all. He walked through the city for hours, buying some food and then some ribbons for his sister and mother back in Lilmoth. He thought about who else he needed to buy gifts for and was stumped. All of his cousins, the children of Uncle Sepphoris, Uncle Antiochus, and Aunt Potema, had died during the war, some of them in battle and some of them during the famines because so many crops had been burned. Aunt Bianchi had died last year. There was only he, his mother, his sister, his father, and his uncle, the Emperor, left, and Aunt Potema, but she didn't really count. When he came upon the Mages Guild earlier that morning, he had decided not to go in. Those places always spooked him with their strange smoke and crystals and old books. This time, it occurred to Pelagius that he might buy a gift for Uncle Sepphoris, a souvenir of Solitude's Mages Guild. An old woman was having trouble with the front door, so Pelagius opened it for her. "Thank you," she said. She was easily the oldest thing that he had ever seen. Her face looked like an old rotted apple framed with a wild whirl of bright white hair. He instinctively moved away from her gnarled talon when she started to pat him on the head, but there was a gem around her neck that immediately fascinated him. It was a single bright yellow jewel, but it almost looked like there was something trapped within. When the light hit it from the candles, it brought out the form of a four-legged beast pacing. "It's a soul gem," she said, "infused with the spirit of a great demon werewolf. It was enchanted long, long ago with the power to charm people, but I've been thinking about giving it another spell. Perhaps something from the school of alteration, like lock or shield." She paused and looked at the boy carefully with yellowed, rheumy eyes. "You look familiar to me, boy. What's your name?" "Pelagius," he said. He normally would have said Prince Pelagius, but he was told not to draw attention to himself while in town. "I used to know someone named Pelagius," the old woman said, and slowly smiled. "Are you here alone, Pelagius?" "My father is with the army storming the castle, but he'll be back when the walls have been breached." "Which I dare say won't take too much longer," sighed the old woman. "Nothing, no matter how well built, tends to last. Are you buying something in the Mages Guild?" "I wanted to buy a gift for my uncle," said Pelagius, "but I don't know if I have enough gold." The old woman left the boy to look over the wares while she went to the guild enchanter. He was a young Nord, ambitious and new to the Kingdom of Solitude. It took little persuasion and a lot of gold to convince him to remove the charm spell from the soul gem and imbue it with a powerful curse, a slow poison that would drain wisdom from its wearer year by year. I know where this is going. Until he or she lost all reason. She also purchased a cheap ring of fire resistance. "For your kindness to an old woman, I've bought you these," she said, giving the boy the necklace and the ring. "You can give the ring to your uncle and tell him that it has been enchanted with a levitation spell, so if he ever needs to leap from high places, it will protect him. The soul gem is for you." "Thank you," said the boy, "but this is too kind of you." "Kindness has nothing to do with it," she answered, quite honestly. "You see, I was in the Hall of Records at the Imperial Palace once or twice. I read about you in the foretellings of the Elder Scrolls. You will be emperor one day, my boy, the Emperor Pelagius Septim III, and with this soul gem will guide you. And with this soul gem to guide you, posterity will always remember you and your deeds." With those words, the old woman disappeared down an alley to the Mages Guild. Pelagius looked after her, but he did not think to search behind a heap of stones. If he had, he would have found a tunnel under the city into the very heart of Castle Solitude, and if he had found his way there, he would have found, past the shambling undead and the mouldering remains of a once grand palace, the bedroom of the Queen. In that bedroom, he would find the Wolf Queen of Solitude in repose, listening to the sounds of her castle collapsing, and he would see a toothless grin growing on her face as she breathed her last. From the pen of Inzanlocus, 2nd century sage. 3rd era, 137. Potema Septim died after a month-long siege of her castle. While she lived, she had been the Wolf Queen of Solitude, daughter of the Emperor Pelagius II, wife of King Mantiraco, aunt of the Empress Kintara II, mother of Emperor Uriel III, and sister of the Emperor Antiochus and Sepphoris. At her death, Magnus appointed his son Pelagius as the titular head of Solitude under the guidance of the Royal Council. 3rd era 140. The Emperor Sepphoris Septim died after falling from his horse. His brother was proclaimed the Emperor Magnus Septim. 3rd era 141. Pelagius, King of Solitude, is recorded as occasionally eccentric in the imperial annals. He marries Catarish, Duchess of Radenfell. 3rd era 145. The Emperor Magnus Septim dies. His son, who will be known as Pelagius the Mad, is coronated.
So obviously I need to find a way to get my endurance back. But at this point we've got a full inventory, so we can head straight back to Balmora. Unless this healer will help me.
What do you want?
Nope. So much the better if I can give it the slip, but I think one way or the other I'm gonna have to do a fight. Looks like my endurance might be slowly coming back. Although it's also possible it was my strength that was at 0, so I may just have a bad memory. Still have a way to go to Balmora, but we did at least get something done and read a few books. We'll certainly be quite a bit happier once we get out of the Ashlands. Although I believe our destination is still on the edge of it. That rat meat is what pushed me over the edge, clearly. Also, I thought I got an alembic. Apparently the scum-up-tight pipe is still better. Alright. Thought I had a few more trained magic materials, but apparently not. Again, these are mostly excuses to improve alchemy. One, because alchemy is worth improving on its own, but two, because it will also allow me to improve my intelligence, which will increase my magic pool. Although with that in mind, doesn't hurt to get a little practice in. There, we got more than one enemy now. Probably actually get my fatigue back up before I do that again. I didn't mean to fortify, I meant to restore. Once I'm in Balmora, the plan will be to sell off whatever surplus I can, deposit my books back in the place I'm staying, and then I need to find either a temple or get the spell to restore my endurance. After which we'll go after the necromancer. Actually, now is not a bad time to try and, there we go. I think we'll do the standard strength, intelligence, and willpower. It's also a much more attractive place when the wind isn't blowing. Yeah, I was hoping I didn't have to do this fight. I mean, not that I want to turn down opportunities to practice some skills, but Longblade is not exactly the thing I need to be improving right now. It's tempting to go there because I know we can sell some items, but I think we can get better prices if we sell the guilds. I have no idea why that was hitting like a truck. So we're gonna wait a little while to cast the restoration spells. guess I technically get more opportunities to increase my my restoration if I do the weaker heals and do lots of them, but that strikes me as a really good way to get very bored very fast. I'm thinking Valmora is to the right there, but let's read the sign just in case. Again, there's a temptation to use the destruction spells in those situations, but I want the opportunity to do healing at the moment. At least until we're back on track to our quest. Here, I'm just gonna try and make what progress I can until this thing finally lands on me. That's a few of them. This might become a problem. Looks like I've got a nasty disease. Wow. Alright, so that's not a common disease. Alright, well, this will be one I put on the C just in case I can't cure it. always tempting to check out those locations to the side there, but I don't really have any. Well, I have a little bit of space now, but nothing. Nothing to really commend going into another place where I'll have to leave some items behind. Close to home. It's just really just trying to push us to the limit. Oh, these cliff racers. So at some point I do want to explore these ruins. But again, at a point when I have enough space to be able to make the most of it. So I think there was a shrine. More importantly, there is not rain inside that fort. Diseased and it's raining on me. And now it's thundering. Clearly the gods are angry. Excellent.
Welcome, Layman Caius. Can I tell you of our services? Or if you can donate more time and effort, would you like to become a lay servant?
Yes, you don't want me to... You know what? I'll just sell my stuff back at Balmora. These seems really useful. But I'm a little nervous about what it'll do to my, carrying capacity, so I'm going to sell off what I have first.
Our sugar is yours, friend.
All right. Should have remembered to use these on those chests. use these to craft potions, so I'm not going to sell any of the items or the materials. I'm not wealthy enough to justify those lessons yet.
What can I do for you, friend? This is unexpected, but not unwelcome. Please go ahead.
Finally, something interesting.
I'm...
You've
How
taken a
does the
few
day greet you,
scrapes.
friend?
I'm sure a healer could help.
Debating on whether or not I should sell these arrows because I'm probably not going to be doing much in terms of archery. Now I need to find somebody to buy the ebony. Obviously get some rest before we head out again. Probably read whatever books I haven't read in the inventory yet.
Well, hello there. A pleasure to meet you.
I don't know if I've read the book on the Daedra yet. Doesn't look like I have it. No. Alright. As much as I hate to duplicate the trips, I do like my books. Just want to see if there's anything better than what I currently have. As far as light, I think I'm about as good as I'm gonna get. Alright, first things first, let's get rid of the books I've already read. Oh boy. I actually don't remember which one of these I've read already. Alright, well, I'll go through them in order. I think this is the one about his armor. Yep.
The Book of the Daedra. These are excerpts from the These are excerpts from this lengthy tome describing the nature of each of the Daedra. Azura, whose sphere is dusk and dawn, the magic in between realms of twilight known as Moonshadow, Mother of the Rose and Queen of the Night Skies. Boethia, whose sphere is deceit and conspiracy, and the secret plots of murder, assassination, treason, and unlawful overthrow of authority. Clavicus Vile, whose sphere is the granting of power and wishes through ritual invocations and pact. Hermaeus Mora, whose sphere is scrying of the tides of fate, of the past and future as read in the stars and heavens, and in whose dominion there are treasures of knowledge and memory. Hircine, whose sphere is the hunt, the sport of Daedra, the great game, the chase, known as the huntsman and the father of man-beasts. Malekith, whose sphere is patronage of the spurned and ostracized, and keeper of the sworn oath and the bloody curse. Marunas Dagon, whose sphere is destruction, change, revolution, energy, and ambition. Mephala, whose sphere is obscured to mortals, known by the names Webspinner, Spinner, and Spider, whose only consistent theme seems to be interference in the affairs of mortals for her amusement. Meridia, whose sphere is obscured to mortals, who is associated with the energies of living things. Moleg Bal, whose sphere is domination and enslavement of mortals, whose desire is to harvest the souls of mortals and to bring mortal souls within his sway by spreading seeds of strife and discord within the mortal realms. Namira, whose sphere is the ancient darkness, known as the Spirit Daedra, ruler of sundry dark and shadowy spirits, associated with spiders, insects, slugs, and other repulsive creatures which inspire mortals with an instinctive revulsion. Nocturnal, whose sphere is the night and darkness, who is known as the Night Mistress. Pyrite, whose sphere is the ordering of the lowest orders of oblivion, known as the Taskmaster. Sanguine, whose sphere is hedonistic revelry and debauchery, and passionate indulgences of darker natures. Shegarath, whose sphere is madness and whose motives are unknowable. Vernimia, whose sphere is the realm of dreams and nightmares, even from whose realm issues forth evil omens. Especially marked for special interest under heading Malakath, you will find reference to Scourge, blessed by Malakath, and dedicated to the use of mortals. In short, the reference suggests that any Daedra attempting to invoke the weapon's powers will be expelled into the void streams of oblivion. Of the legendary artifacts of the Daedra, many are well known, like Azura's Star and Shegarath's Wabajak. Others are less well known, like Scourge, Macan's Hammer, Bane of Daedra. Yet though Malakath blessed Scourge to be potent against his Daedra kin, he thought not that it should fall into Daedric hands, then to serve as a tool for private war among Caitiff and Forsaken. Thus did Malakath curse the device, such that should any dark kin seek to invoke its powers, that a void should open and swallow that Daedra, and purge him into Oblivion's void streams, from thence to pathfind back to the real and unreal worlds in full order of time. The Cantatas of Vivec. The Cantatas of Vivec are gospels written in the form of epic songs. They trace the evolution of Vivec from a foolish mortal into an enlightened divine. Vivec song. I'm pretty sure I've read this. We'll read it anyway. Vivec sought out experiences that tested him in every way possible, particularly in the defense and protection of his Dunmer people, and though through his long life, his humility, and his unconquerable spirit, he attained the wisdom of the seven graces. The cantatas relate many stories of Vivec's experiments with challenge and risk, his failures and triumphs, his blessings of insight and good fortune, and his debt to his parents, Almalexia, the lover, and Sothasil, the teacher. The poetry is simple and dramatic, lyric and personal, composed to be sung or recited. The following is an excerpt from Lord Vivec's Brooding Beneath the Red Mountain. The gaunt ghost fires loom as subtle shrouds, smoke and shades on the briars of Red Mountain. Arches and spires line the rock halls, dimly lit by the spirits of the dead. The blood of broken hearths and houses runs in red rivers, blossoms in fountains. Girdled round within walls of wit's glass, the shattered hosts of slumber and cradles of ash. But when shall they wake? What dark crucible may kindle their souls to light? How long beneath red reeking clouds must flickering watchfires burn? How many lifetimes of labor and lament will it take to seal this restless tomb? The doors of the spirit. The ancestors are among us. They are never further away than the waiting door. The ancestors are not departed. The dead are not under the earth. Their spirits are in the restless wind, in the fire's voice, in this foot-smooth step. Pay heed to these things, and you will know your absent kin. Pay reverence through gift and prayer. Acquaint the ancestors with your affairs, with your comings and goings, with your blessings and trials. From the waiting door comes your protection. Heed the spirits, who are the guardians of hearth, teachers of wisdom, counselors of fortune, seers of fate. Each bone is a door through the wall of the world. Each bone is the road, with wisdom and power the travelers. Each bone is the ghost fence that guards us from evil. Honor the ancestors upon your hearths, within your halls, in community of your temples, in solitude of your tombs. Guard your ancestors from beasts, from thieves, from profane spirit and sorcerers. Let no creature steal your spirits, for the plundered hearth is diminished, and the plundered tomb is shamed. Live in one world with your spirits. Honor the spirits within and without you. Do not grieve for the dead. Take shelter in their arms. Pay heed to their words.
Alright, now I want to see what's going on with this alembic. Alright, so apparently one is better than the other.
I see there's quite a bit of trouble around. A healer can help mend your wounds.
And finally, before, oh yes, obviously I'm not going to have anyone who can pick that up, so Huh. Thought I had something for personality, but I'm clearly wrong. Alright, let's get more levitation potions. Should probably be looking for more restore right now, so let's start with those. Alright. The rest is just going to be trying to find anything that'll fit. So, restore willpower. Nope. Strength, magic, I don't think we'll have either. Fortify health, drain fatigue. Drain health or lightning shield. Alright, I think we're done, but... It's weird because some of this seems like I should be able to build more, but...
You may speak.
How does the day greet you?
I don't need that many levitate potions.
What was that?
A little light on gold, but I think training up in some of my primary abilities is worth it.
You flatter me with your attention, Outlander.
Alright, and now we go to Margan. This time I will be consulting my map. take a minute to look at the signs as I go by. Because this map is not bad, but it doesn't give me an exact idea of where where all the paths lie. See, I don't really believe this one says all these about Balmora. Yeah, so Margon is definitely in the Ashlands. It seems to be north of Caldera, so it might be an idea to go there. I think in this case I'm still gonna go straight north. I'm gonna try and get an idea of where I am inside the Ashlands and relative to Balmora. So for instance, I want to know the name of this place. I'm sure I've seen it before, I just don't remember it. Should probably be dropping off some of these rings. That or selling them. Let me out. Yes, I might want to consider destruction spells. The ideal is to go north as much as possible in here. Actually, I already don't like where this is going. So maybe I should go to Caldera and then enter in from that way. Or alternatively, I follow this path. This is gonna be fun. I'm not going back to the temple. Unless I can find some spell to get rid of a blight. At this point, we'll just wait until we find another altar. I also forgot I've got magic potions, so I should be using those as frequently as I can. The Andronic might be a problem. You're gonna come down anytime soon. try doing this more often. Just wanted to get back on track before going to more conventional means. Alright, first things first. Lots of magic practice, obviously. Here, but let's see if we can pull it off. Did it. All right.
36 Lessons of Vivek, Sermon 12. As the Horator pondered the first lesson of ruling kings, Vivek wandered into the morning hold and found that Ayam was with a pair of lovers. Set had divided himself again. Vivek then leapt through into their likeness to observe, but he gained no secrets that he did not already know. He left a few of his own behind to make the journey worthwhile. Then Vivek left the capital of Veloth and wandered far into the ash. He found a span of badlands to practice his giant form. He made of his feet a less dense material than the divine to keep from falling waist deep into the earth. At this point, the first corner of the House of Troubles, the Prince Molag Bal, made his presence known. Vivek looked on the King of Rape and said, "How very beautiful you are, that you do not join us." And Molag Bal crushed the warrior poet's feet, which were not invulnerable, and had legions cleave them off. Mighty fires from the beginning place were brought like nets to hold Vivek, and he let them. "I would prefer," he said, "some kind of ceremony if we are to be married." And the legions that took the feet were summoned again and ordered to begin a banquet. Pomegranates sprang from the Badlands, and tents were raised. A throng of Velothi mystics came, reading the passages of the severed feet on the ground and weeping until the scriptures were wet. "We must love each other briefly," Vivek said. "If at all, I am needed to counsel the Horator in more important matters because the Dwemerai high priests stir up trouble, and you may have my head for an hour." Molag Bal rose up and extended 6 arms to show his worth. They were decorated in runes of seduction in its reverse. They were decorated in the annotated calendars of longer worlds. When he spoke, mating monsters fell out. "Where must it go?" he said. "I told you," Vivek said. "I am meant to be the teacher of the king of the earth. Altadun Gartok Padom." With these magic words, the King of Rape added another, Kim, which is the secret syllable of royalty. Vivek had what he needed from the Daedroth, and so married him that day. In the hour that Bal had asked for his head, the King of Rape asked for proof of love. Vivek spoke 2 poems to show him such, but only the first is known. "I'm not sure just how much glass it took to make your hair twice as much. I am sure, as the oceans have to share hell, my sweet is a fiction written by those who tell the truth. My mouth is skilled at lying, and its alibi a tooth." The sons and daughters of Vivek and Molag Bal number in the thousands. The name of the mightiest is a string of power, Gula Mor Jil Hayat E Hum. The ending of the words is Elm Sivi.
These are not easy to read. It's tempting to rest right away, but I'm going to avoid it just so that I can, Yikes. I don't know if I'm gonna survive this. Alright. I got a bit lucky on that. So if I can, I'd like to avoid, He's mad I took his stuff. Oh, Jesus. There's no way I'm surviving this. I wasn't even thinking about the weight. Still going for it though. Ha! Think I can go without the iron longsword. Jackpot. Alright, as always, I need to find what I can dump. That'll do. Alright, that was a decent haul. Like I said, I'm gonna hold off on resting until I have a way of working with this blade. I don't know if they become permanent over time. potion spells on that. Things are endless. I'm gonna guess my marksmanship doesn't really improve by those attacks, but at the very least it just gets me down some arrows. And a small, small improvement to my inventory space. One challenge here, of course, is that with the map, I have a general idea of where my destination is. It's still possible I'm going down the wrong path. I think that might be the ghost wall. Or the ghost gate. Which, based on this map, I think suggests I'm in the wrong spot. Let me just double check here. Yes, but let's see if I can get over these mountains. No, the answer is no, I cannot. assuming I'm able to get back to the other side of the, on the other side of the valley, this will take me to Margon. Wouldn't be complete without more of these guys. So it's tempting to go further up, closer to the center of the mountain, but this isn't, I don't believe that's anywhere near where Margon is. I want to be heading a little more west. This is obviously tempting to investigate.
You've got a blight disease, Outlander. Get away from me. Go get cured. Or stay away from me.
Right. Probably should be getting that fixed before I start conversations. That would have been a good opportunity for a destruction spell. It's only rarely worked, but I'm certainly happy for the opportunities to fight a greater variety of creatures. I can now add Slayer of Daedra to my list of accomplishments. Damn. I think we need to hope for the best here. Hoping for the best will not turn out well. So here I'm going to wait for my fatigue to go up this no point in wasting any more magic on this. I do have the Restore Magicka potions, but I also have Restore Fatigue. I'd love to go check out the shrine, but I think at this point I need to cure myself of the blight before I go any further. Just want to double check this map to see if... So Margan is almost exactly to the north of Caldera. So I may want to go a little bit west before I go north. Change my mind. Feel bad that I'm letting all these skill improvements go to waste, but I'm a little less worried about the worried about the weapon ones. Just because I can always switch to axes and other weapons to gain those improvements. I would love to take whatever that thing is on, but we'll leave that for another time. So I think that may be Caldera there. We'll see whether or not I can get the blight cured. Both of those are helpful, but in this case we'll take the fort and see if we can get the shrine to help us. Nice that the apothecary would...
Is it necessary that you speak with me?
Blah. See if I can find a shrine. I'm assuming there should be one for every fort, but that may not be correct. Oh, there we go. Why?
By the gods, you tourists are a nuisance.
Could you maybe, move?
Disgusting.
Excellent. It's gonna borrow one of these beds if you don't mind. Oh, damn.
I see you. Hello.
Your
Probably just
actions show promise. What do you want?
really, because I'm pretty sure my actions just got me in trouble.
How can I help you?
Hello, I would like to turn myself in for the bounty.
You violated the law, Caius. Since you turned yourself in voluntarily, I'll take that into consideration. Pay 5 gold to the court and surrender your stolen goods, or surrender your stolen goods and serve the sentence of hard labor. Deliver the gold immediately, or come with me. Accept this gold as payment of the fines and compensation ordered by the court, and you are now free to go.
Alright, let's see what's going on in here.
I'm Reza Polina, champion of the Legion garrison here at Buckmoth Legion 4th. I'm very busy right now, so please excuse me.
Can you tell me of rumors?
At first, it seemed the fuss about the Neverine prophecy was silly superstition. Then I learned that the Dunmer have been waiting for Lord We've read this a bunch of times.
Advice?
My notion of the ideal knight is an orc named Dumbok Gro Bolak. He serves with the Legion under General Darius up in Nisus. You'll usually find him in the barracks. Look him up. He knows his trade in Vradenfell.
About secrets?
How do you recognize a Daedric shrine? Well, they've all got long, funny names like Ashurna Bibi or Zion Steris. Some are well-known sites like Ald Sotha and Balfell, and the stone and architecture are unmistakable. Big, dark, gray-green stone ruins, funny angles, funny markings, and patterns on the stone. Weird oval, crooked doors, and inside, all funny angles.
What about your trade?
I'm a knight. In the West, you need a horse and land to be a knight, but here we have no horses, and all you need is good armor, good weapons, and skill to use them. I prefer to fight with axes and shields, but since I live by my weapons, I have to pay careful attention to local feelings about killing and murder, what's right and what's wrong. Local custom permits killing and house wars when sanctioned by the state.
Tell me about Uriel Septim.
The current emperor is Uriel Septim, Uriel the 7th, 24th of the Septim dynasty. The emperor is over 80 and in poor health. He has declared 2 heirs, Enman and Ebel, and there is some controversy over the succession in the imperial city.
Tell me more.
Our civilization has brought peace and prosperity to all of Tamriel. We place our faith in hard work, education, and discipline. We prefer free trade and diplomacy, but are not ashamed to use force.
See if we can sell anything off. Think I can get a better offer. Well, maybe not. This one I may want to hold on to.
Do
See if there's anything I actually want to buy from them, too.
Good to see you, Caius. I hope I hope I see you well.
Don't think I'm quite ready to go on these kinds of quests.
I don't think we've been introduced, Outlanders. I'm Segunivis Mantedius. How may I help you?
Who are you and what do you do?
Savant and initiate of the Imperial cult.
Can you train me in restoration? No. Think we're done here.
Go ahead.
I'm a little surprised that more of these people don't give quests.
I greet you as a friend.
I don't think we've been introduced, Outlander. I'm Yambagorn Gor Shulor. How can I help you?
Tell me about yourself.
I'm a smith and trooper of the Imperial Legion.
Any rumors? Advice? What about secrets?
Worn out weapons and armor work poorly. Repair them yourself if you have some skill, or take them to a smith for repair.
All right, you convinced me. Yeah, we'll leave it there.
All right, then. I'm listening.
I don't think we've been introduced, Outlander. I'm Etelvupus Catius. How can I help you?
Well, who are you?
I'm Drillmaster and Trooper of the Imperial Legion.
What can you tell me of the Fighters Guild?
Training, goods, and services are cheaper for Fighters Guild member, and Guild stewards know where to find work.
What's your trade?
I'm a drill master. I train and condition the local militia. I teach citizens the basics of block, spear, and long blade, but mostly I concentrate on athletics and acrobatics, because conditioning is the biggest weakness of a citizen soldier. No point teaching them to fight if they pass out after a short jog in full kit.
Anything interesting you've heard? All right. Who are you?
Scout and a trooper for the Imperial Legion.
What can you tell me about the geographic regions? I think we've heard these before. What about the Guild Guide?
A guild guide is a spellcaster in the Mages Guild who provides magical transport for a small fee. You can only travel from one Mages Guild to the other, but it's the fastest way to travel between Vivek, Balmora, Aldrin, Caldera, and Sadith Mora.
Let's try the usual three.
If you want to know about a place on Dradenfell, talk to a scout, and the scout I'd talk to is alone. You can find her at Aryl's trade house inside Aneen. She's traveled all over the island.
What about secrets? I heard that one already. Who are you? Healer and agent of the Imperial Legion. Well, as much as I would love to do every dialogue option, it seems like there's a lot of repetition in here. You really gonna block me again? No.
You got the better of me. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I wonder how long it'll take for her to move again. You know what? It's not worth it.
I greet you as a friend.
Slightly nervous that I was going to get that disease again and I would freak out. Alright, that was actually a pretty good round.
Being smart doesn't hurt, and a little luck now and then is nice, but the key is patience and hard work, and when it pays off, it's sweet.
Take a quick look just to see what Aldrun is, but well, we've got kills and everything, so we'll at least be able to get rid of some of the items I don't want to carry. And I guess you don't buy potions either. Alright, well, what kind of weapons do you have? It's all iron. Iron and steel. think I'll explore the city after I complete my tasks.
You there! Yes, you! I'm in need of an escort. You'll do in a pinch.
Tell me more.
When we were better friends, ask again.
But you said...
The temple honors the greatest ancestors as saints, celebrating them as models of virtue and piety, and invoking their aid for protection.
Did I mention you look very nice in this windstorm?
Keep it up if you really want to make me mad.
Alright, how about $10?
Is this supposed to be a gift? If so, it does not please me.
100? Try and find out what's going on with her later, but for now I don't seem to be very effective at I think this is just the same city again. Yeah, we'll leave that be for now. Oh, you know what? I could use one of those fortify personality potions. We'll do that on our way back. Love to try and pick those plants, but I was hoping to avoid the cliff razor. I think I failed at it though. admit, I'm sort of feeling like I went too far. But I'll keep going where the sign said we should go until we see another sign. I think I've probably gotten lost, but let's see if we can find something at the end of this. Who are you? Why do you want to hurt me? Oh boy. I don't think I have any healing.
Your pain is nearing an end.
Don't seem to be able to do anything, so I think I'm done for.
Your life's end is approaching.
Oh, how far am I gonna have to go back? I suppose at least I can read the signs again. Just want to know the name of that place rather than wanting to go inside of it. Well, I mean, I've got the storage space, but... Just gonna try and carry on the path as straight as I possibly can. Got me. This is one of the ways that I wind up getting caught, or getting turned around without any hope of recovery.
I don't know you. What do you want? I'm Adrian Lannister, Scout.
What's Foyada?
Foyada means fire river in the native Ashlander languages. The deep dark ash ravine which run down the Red Mountain volcano are called the Foyada. Lava from the Red Mountain is very fluid, and it runs almost like water, and during an eruption, fire rivers run down the mountain, clearing the ravines of vegetation. Because they have good footing, are clear of brush, and run long distances, we use them like roads when traveling overland.
Right. So I don't think there's much you can tell me about. Well, tell me about the Sea of Ghosts.
The Sea of Ghosts is the name for the northern waters lying between Tamriel and the northern continent of Atmora.
What about Foyada Mamea?
Foyada Mamea is a volcanic ravine that runs from the top of the Red Mountain to the southwest of its end just below Balmora. An old Dwemer bridge crosses the Foyada near Fort Moonmoth. The best route to Ghost Gate is to follow the Foyada Mamea up from where the Plagiad Balmora road crosses the Foyada southeast at Fort Moonmoth.
I know it well.
Yes, Outlander?
Who are you?
I am Rasami Essernaut, or Archer.
Not much to say, is there?
You may speak.
Hey, Dark Elf. I am Bedin Gildrin, a poor pilgrim trapped by these Ashlanders. Can you get me out of here? These Ashlanders are holding me for ransom.
Tell me more.
Yes, I'm Bedin Gilradin. These Ashlanders have me trapped here. Can you get me out?
We'll see.
I don't know you. What do you want? I'm Manat Shimbadas, barbarian.
Alright, you've told me everything of these before. Alright, so that guy you're holding.
Yes, you heard right. I have the famous noble Baden Gildarin. I demand 5,000 drakes for ransom.
Who?
What do you want? Have you not heard of the famous Redoran noble Baden Gildarin?
He is not famous.
He told me that he was a famous noble from House Redoran. Perhaps you should speak with him. I thought the Ashlanders would kill me, so I told them that I was a famous noble. I know it was wrong, but what else could I do?
Probably nothing.
Can't you afford a better outfit? So this famous noble is a liar and a coward. Very well, you can have him for 5 drakes.
Oh, fine.
You paid my ransom? Thank you, Caius. I'll continue on the pilgrimage on my own.
You're welcome.
Should board my...
Alright, so Alderun has something for me now. I always try to avoid this nonsense, but at least if they charge me right away, it's a quick one. Alright, I can deal with an elite bite. I just don't want a disease. So normally I would try and avoid that cliff racer, but clearly there's somebody here, so I want to see if I can do anything for them.
Pardon me, can you help a poor pilgrim?
What's up?
I've been trying to get to Ruddy Man, but I've lost my way. If you'd be so kind as to help, I can pay you 150 septims upon our arrival. I need to get there rather quickly, though. I'm on a pilgrimage, and there are others that I must meet there. I must be at Ruddy Man in Coal Cave within 2 days. Can you help?
I can escort you to Coal Cave.
Excellent. Let us be on our way there, then. It's on the western shore, so we must hurry.
Gotta kill the necromancer first, so...
Will die.
I know I still have some books to read, but I think we will save those for the next broadcast, seeing as this is already going a bit late. It's almost 5 in the morning here. And I was hoping to record a second episode tomorrow, but I suppose that depends what time I wake up. Oh, we may finally be here. Yes. Wait, but I've lost my... Oh, here we go. Alright. I'm going to end it here. And we will finish the quest. Both the one we just got and the one for the Mages Guild. Next session. Thank you very much for watching. And we'll see you next time.